Welcome back, everybody, to the First in Line podcast. This is not like a beginning episode of season 2, but it's kind of like a season 2 trailer. We got a lot of things working behind the scenes to kind of get season 2 planned. Starting to plan things for season 3, so we're super excited. Thank you for hanging on. We all took a nice little break, kind of refresh our minds, think about what we're doing for the next season. And one piece of feedback that we got from season 1 was talking a little bit about behind the scenes, right? The team of the First in Line podcast. So we all got together. We all are in front of the camera this time. It's going to be a shorter episode. And like I said, it's just the intro to season 2. We're going to make more fun videos with all of us involved in it to kind of show you guys like the community behind First in Line podcast, invite some of our old guests back before we release the the episode 1 for season 2 first podcast. So go ahead, kick it off. Whichever one of you guys wants to start off.
I can go ahead. I think we can just start by just introducing ourselves. Your name and just what you do for the podcast, and like a hobby, something that you can do. So I can start. So my name's William, as some of you may know. What I do for the podcast is I appear as a host sometimes, but in order to get like the podcast running, I take care of the numbers. So like making sure that we have the appropriate equipment and that we stay. At the end of the day, we at least have to like break even. So just taking care of like that behind the scenes stuff. I'm the numbers guy for the podcast. And for hobbies, I like to play soccer. I play a lot of soccer. So that's me. What wants to go next?
Nice. Go ahead, Nelson.
Popcorn to Nelson.
Nice.
All right. So, hey guys. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nelson Zane, and I am the editor for First in Line. This is my first appearance in the podcast, and I take care of most of the behind the scenes. So what I do for the podcast is make sure everything is running smoothly from sound quality to video quality. I have to be there and just make sure that nothing goes wrong. And once everything is wrapped up, I go home, edit these videos, and put in the intro music, work on the captions, and put together a thumbnail and descriptions. Um, And outside first in line, some of my hobbies would include exercising. I go to the gym, do some cardio. I go run outside, and what also like occupies my time would also be like reading a book or just hanging out with family, doing sports. And one thing about me would probably be that I'm very entrepreneurial, so I like starting new things, new projects, and learning. This is probably my second or third project now. My original project was Naj, which I started back in 2018 while I was in college. It was Naj Clothing Company, and I did it with two of my friends. Alberta was actually part of it, and another friend from California, Jesse. We worked on it for 2 years, but after that, graduation was right there, and everyone was leaving the state basically. So we discontinued that, but now here I am with First in Line, hoping for the best. But finally, I just want to say also that I'm grateful to my friends and family that watch our podcast. I really appreciate it. The support is great, and I hope y'all continue to support. All right, so now I want to pass it on to Alberto.
My name is Alberto Vergara. I also share the responsibility of being host for the First in Line podcast. I kind of also do kind of like the back end of our website. So shout out to the website if you want to click on that link down below. Order any merch. Yeah, so that's kind of what I specialize in. For like the First in Line podcast. One thing about all of us is we also went to the same high school here in the Twin Cities. So I'm gonna lead with that, and not even the same high school. We also were part of the same internship site for our internship program.
Let's plug the company name. I mean, they've done a lot. I don't think I see a problem.
I don't think I see a problem either.
Yeah, so, I mean, and the company's done a lot for us. So I mean, here we are. So let's give them credit.
That's true. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, shout out to Barbara Binger, our supervisor, who was there since my oldest brother first started at Motion actually. She knows all my siblings and is also even familiar with Alberto's family as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, since we're talking about the company's name is AgMotion, but they're also known as U.S. Commodities, and also shout out to the CEO there, Rolf Peters, and the former Chief Financial Officer, Bill Wren, who has done a lot, for the cruise story community and us who were their interns. I think, just being a part of that company has done a lot for us in terms of like giving us a foundation to like pursue some of the dreams, maybe passions, and maybe even like a work ethic, right? So yeah, shout out to them. They've done a lot for us.
Yeah, we've highlighted a lot of like life paths in our episodes, and I think one really cool thing is like we all took our path differently, but it was kind of like a similar path with high school and with even like our internship as well. Nelson and I even worked together in the internship, which was we were the first pair to do it way back in the day. We have a lot that pair up now, but we were the first pair, so it was kind of like she was because we like. Anyways, without getting too complicated into the program, it was either me or him at one point in the summer, and Barb came up to us and was like, "Oh yeah, like you guys are both gonna work the same day, so I got to pick only one of you guys." And it was tough because Zanai, well, maybe you don't know, but their bloodlines ingrained in ag motion, so
it's a royal Saiyan bloodline.
It is. So I was kind of like my back was against the wall because I was like, you know what, it's last name versus what I can do for you guys, and but then luckily she fought the school and was like, no, I want both of them, and the school was like, okay, we'll make an exception. So that was pretty cool. But talking about high school, what do you guys have like highlight from high school? Highlight from high school.
I think for me, highlight from high school. Well, it's not really a highlight, maybe, but I think I'll just piggybacking off like the high school stuff. Starting a podcast. A lot of people was like saying like you got to talk, and then high school I was shy. I was a really quiet kid. I had friends, I was like I opened up to them, maybe like in a smaller circle, but at the same time, I wasn't like a great public speaker. I was remembering this the other day, right? Yeah. My freshman year, I did like presentation on learning. And I was so like nervous, like I don't know. I'm a natural introvert. I was so nervous. Like I knew we had to do presentation learning, at the end of the year. Everything, right? Like I was like planning it for a whole year, right? And then the presentation learning, you have to like teach them something. Yeah. And like I was like, I'm a patient dude. I think it was like either freshman or sophomore. I don't remember how time ago. But I'm a patient guy. Like I learned patience. Oh, I'm not a patient guy. I'm not a patient guy. But I have to teach them. I can teach them patience. I think I taught. There's a lot going on in my head. But like at this point, like I needed to teach the class something. It was a class maybe like 30, 40 people, right? And I'm up there. I'm like, all right, let's do this, right? So I started talking. I was like just nervous as heck. As nervous as you can get. I was sweating. I was like red, and I was like, all right, guys. So this year I learned patience, right? And I just started talking, and I was so nervous, red, like I don't know, like sweating, everything. I learned patience, right? And then at the end of the day, like the grades come in, and they're like, all right. So like then all the comments from the teachers, because there's like a panel of 3 teachers, is like, you can't really teach patience. We didn't really learn anything. I was like, oh no. My god, because it was like a bad grade at that point. I was getting like all A's. Yeah. So I was like, what? Like and it's just not a good skill, But getting back to like the point, like I feel like it's something that you just get better at. You just like practice, and like even if you need to like in order to get out of from like that, like nervousness, even for interviews or for whatever else, like podcasts or like when you're talking in public, you can practice by like recording yourself, talking in front of the mirror. So I think that was like a key point. Like get back to like the main question. Like I think that was like a highlight. Like in order to like host a podcast, you could just get better. Even now I'm like not the greatest speaker, but like we're here. We're here learning. We're here like I'm talking about some good topics. So let's continue doing that. I'll popcorn to Alberta. What did you learn?
What did I learn?
Highlight.
I'll probably say the highlight of high school is, we have like these. Now they call them Ignite leaders, but back then it was like the Kairos leaders. And when I was like I think I was like a junior, beginning of junior year, the campus ministry director came up to me and she was like, "Hey, how would you like to like be a Kairos leader?" That just means like you get to lead basically like the freshmen, the sophomores, the juniors, and then eventually when you're a senior, you get to lead your senior class in like a big retreat. And I never like up until that point, I never saw myself as like a leader. And when she came up to me and she like went over like why I made a good leader for my classmates and how other teachers had voted for me to be the leader or my classmates. That's kind of when I started realizing like the impact that I can have on people around me and more important like people like my colleagues. So I think that was like a big eye opener for me. And ever since junior year, like I've tried every year to do something to kind of like set myself up to be a better leader in a way, to learn more about leadership. So in high school, right, I did the retreats. In college, I started two clubs, mentorship club. I tried to start like a mentorship program for the high school that was taken up kind of by the network. So I've just like every step of my life, I've tried to like build myself up to being a better leader, a more effective leader. And right now, ultimately, what I'm doing is I'm working with one of the best leaders that I know, and just learning a lot from her. So that's probably like the biggest gift that high school gave to me. I want to make a comment about like the being the shy thing, and then I got a question after that. So like I'm also naturally like introverted. Like I really don't speak out a lot, but there's something about like almost like an alter ego thing where I have like where I've always wanted to like act or like be in a movie or be in a show or something. So like it almost helps when there's a camera that's turned on, or like when I like people say like when you're giving a speech, like pretend like everybody's under underwear or something. Like for me, it's like every time I'm giving a speech, I pretend there's a camera on, and then like I just get like this weird like surge of confidence and like this weird just like flow of words and this flow of thought. And so I don't know if anybody else is out there like me, but like yeah, I've always wanted to be an actor, so it's like it's a fun little tip and trick that I kind of do. So if you find yourself wanting to be an actor one day and you find yourself practicing lines in the bathroom or whatever the case may be, like if you have to give a speech, like pretend there's a camera on, and or like turn a camera on yourself, and you'll like it's almost like a nice little boost where you want to you want to make sure that you're not messing up too much. And it's really helped me out through because I've made a lot of speeches throughout my life as well that I would have never thought would have gone as well as they did. So got a question though, since you guys are both brothers and you're both claimed to be introverts, right? Like out of and I've met your family, and I hope maybe you know where this question is going, but like out of the family, who would you say is like the most extroverted?
I think that's an easy question.
I don't know.
Extroverted?
Extroverted? No.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Edwin, yeah. That guy's like, I think when he was in 8th grade, he got nominated as like the student speaker. Yeah, he got nominated as student speaker. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is that we didn't really find out about it until his actual graduation day. Yeah. Because we just thought that he was like us, like pretty quiet and just goes by school, does what he does what he needs to do. Yeah. And yeah, it was the biggest surprise because once the commencement started, everyone got their diploma. No. Once commencement started, they just said, okay, now time for a student speaker. Edwin's an A. We were all looking at each other like, oh, what? Like, Edwin? Your brother?
I'm sorry.
And that's fine. Yeah, we got a little dog here, so... Yeah. Okay. So we were all surprised. Like Edwin's an A, like our brother, and then we saw him go up, and he gave a really nice speech. We were all surprised, and we congratulated him, and we asked him like, why didn't you tell? He's like, oh, I just wanted to surprise you, and it was a big surprise, just because we, like you said, are pretty introverted and not like really put ourselves out there, I guess. So that was I mean, to answer your question, I would say like, just based off that action, like there's a lot more like examples from that, but that's where we noticed that okay, this guy is a people's person. This guy knows how to talk. And
yeah, and I would agree with that too. Just thinking back, I forgot about the moment so long ago. Thinking about that moment, I was like thinking college at that time when he graduated 8th grade, maybe like my third or fourth year. Third year of college, and like found out Edwin's graduating, and I was like, all right, let's do it. I went, and then I was just expecting like some just a random kid to like come up to like speak, just like like half paying attention, and then I'm like, oh, like it's Edwin, like Edwin, no way, like what's it like like you pay attention to little brothers, but like sometimes you're like, oh, they're just checking off the list, So I go there, and I'm just pretty much like waiting, and then Edwin, they're like, oh yeah, thanks to student speaker is Edwin. It's like, what? So like I was like shocked, like my eyes just like load up, like I was like, damn, this guy's gonna be shy. He's gonna be stuttering. I was like, this guy's gonna be like red. Like he's gonna be like me. I just told you about my told you about my high school trauma. That haunts me to this day. But like he comes up, he just kills it. He's like, hello everybody, my name's Edwin Denai. Like today, we're gonna, we have all taken like a major step towards the next step in our careers. Like something like that, But it was like I was like, what is going on? Like I would never like at 8th grade, like even now, like there's this guy named Angel, and he's talking about he was on a podcast too, and he's talk to me about like one of my former like middle school I don't know if I should say your name. I don't know your name. Like friends, like we went to middle school together. Mm-hmm. And he's a personal trainer, so he's actually his like her personal trainer, and he's like, hey, like so I shared a video with my clients, and she was surprised, she remembered like the Zanai name is unique, and whose name is like Zanai, no, right, and like they're like it's it's like what are you doing? How is he hosting a podcast? Why is he talking a lot? It's like I told you, I'm like scared to talk in public. So I'm like just that's my assumption of my entire family at that point. And then I see Edwin coming up. He's like, hello everybody. Like today we reached a major like step in our life. Like what, at 8th grade? Who's saying that? And like I don't want to share too much, but right now he's actually graduated from St. Thomas, and he's going to law school. And I think he's gonna do good things. He wants. It's a dream of his. So I think he's gonna like. He's always done what he always said. So I'm excited for his like future career. See what he has planned in the future. So good question. I think you got a popcorn to him, right?
Yeah, popcorn back to Nelson.
Wait, what's the question?
What do you mean?
He asked the question. Who is the most extroverted? So that was his question and answered it.
No, but I think the popcorn was like. For high school?
Oh, We're talking about high school experience.
High school.
You can ask your question.
I had a continuous question.
Go ahead.
Okay, then go back to the high school after that.
Okay. So basically, I guess we all have a perception of how we see ourselves. You shared how you were introverted and how you're shy on speaking, and now that you're doing a podcast, some people are surprised, and you as well. You've had your adventure and how you got to here too.
I guess my question is, how do you think people see you? And do you think that it's accurate with how you actually are? Does that question make sense?
No, no, I feel you. I get it. I'm just trying to think of the best way to word it. So like,
take your time. Yeah.
I like.
How do you? Yeah.
I would say ever since, people that like, I guess people that perceive me can back me up here, but like, ever since I was maybe like in middle school till now, like I feel like I've done a lot to almost like build my brand of who I am, and like everything's like as calculated as can be, not like obsessively calculated, but like I try to make the best decision, because I think I think people will kind of they'll describe me as a laid back, calculated, and driven person, because like that's kind of like what anytime a big decision is made in my life, I kind of think back to like not just what I want, but like how others around me that I care about will take that decision. Because like there's a theme that we've talked about a lot on our podcast too, is we have like this different type of load that we carry on our shoulders, right? We have nieces looking up to us. We have cousins. We have younger siblings. We have parents. Everything looking up to us. So every decision that I make is like not just like what's best for me, because that does make a big consideration to my decisions, but also like how is that gonna benefit all my other like stakeholders in my in my circle. So like, for example, when I like kind of I realistically, when I graduated college, I was like, do I want to do grad school? Like, studying is cool, but like I could just get out of here and start making money now, and like I like just drop in the background, live my life, kind of, work my way up through wherever I'm gonna be. But then I was like, what? Like my sister graduated college, right? My little sister's just graduated college. My brother's probably gonna graduate college. My cousin's graduated college. Like, how can I separate myself? How can I be more so that I can like push them more? So that's also like where the calculations go of like, is it worth it for me to go to grad school? Is it not worth it for me to go to grad school? Like the master's versus the doctorates, applying to the doctorates, how much do I want to stress myself over? And like then the driven part, right? Like I want to be more. Like I want to be able to be at the dinner table, right, and be like, yeah, like I have these degrees, and one degree is cool and all, but like I got two now, and then hopefully in the future three. So I think that's what people see me as. I would agree because I like that's what my actions lead me to be, right? Like I make I think it's very important for me to stay like laid back and like kind of stay like pretty chill. Like only I would say like a very few people have seen me like go over the top of who I am, but like the majority of the people in the world probably, and including myself, I would say probably like I'm more of like a laid back, like I live by the lifestyle of, right, if you can't control what's gonna happen, then don't worry about it. And if you can control what's gonna happen, then don't worry about it, because you got to trust yourself to get it done. So that's kind of like what I perceive myself as. I am very confident in who I am. I'm very happy with what I've done in my decisions, because again, like ever since I was that young, like working on my brand, like who can I inspire, what can I be, and all my decisions kind of come back to like those three qualities. And so obviously, like with my students, I'm very different than when I am with my friends and all that stuff, but I think we all have that kind of like differentiation. But all in all, like the three, like every single persona that I have comes down to those three qualities, and I think I agree with those. At least is that kind of what you were asking?
Yeah. So basically, you're saying that you get what you see.
Yeah, like I worked hard to make sure that people got what they saw. Yeah,
Nice.
That's to end it all. That's what I meant. Yeah.
So going back to you, William, do you think that you're still a shy person now, or do you think you're at a different spot where you can lead people and be that person that people can look up to, and you're not like the shy high schooler that you once were before?
Yeah, I think now, nowadays, just looking at like where we live, we live in America, and like the system that's set up for us, for people in America, like it's not a world for introverts. Maybe it's becoming more, especially if you're working like data analytics or auditing. That's what I do. I work in audit, which is a subset of accounting. That's very general to say it. It's becoming, so I had to become like a person to like survive in the system, but at the same time, it's like I'm just adapting, right? And I think just I always want to like challenge myself to better than like last year, which especially like when it comes to public speaking, I'm like every year I always challenge myself, like, and especially when going to events or like going to networking events in college, like then it's gonna suck, but let's go out there. I can't be in my room. I'm not gonna be in my room. I could. It's easy, like play video games or like just be on my phone, watch videos all day. I could, but I'm like, I always like to challenge myself, So I think that's what helped me like to become like a better public speaker, or not shy anymore, which was like let's go out there and meet people. So start off like let's go there to like that student club event and let's talk to one person. If it goes well, it goes well. If it goes bad, like it goes bad, and I'll try it again another day, right? But eventually you come through with like speaking and like sharing your thoughts and ideas, whatever else like you need to share. But yeah, I think now I see myself as like not shy anymore, and better public speaker.
Yeah, nice.
I think one thing we could talk about is just what's next with the podcast, and what's next in terms of what you want to do in your personal lives. Just give a little bit. I know maybe a lot of it we're still like fine tuning it.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about it. We can like spill out the ideas live. Like what are we seeing, and
give out the master plan.
And I can give out some thoughts too. To be honest, for the listeners here, a lot of it is just we're with I think we see as of to like get better for lack of better terms. Right now, it's pretty much a hobby, and it's just like an active, moving, like target. So we're still trying to define it. So it's not like like we have like a 5. We don't have like a 5 for like a year plan, right? So right now, it's pretty much goes month to month, right, guys? Like we talk about it, on a weekly basis, and like what do we want to do? Where do we want to go with it? And we're still defining it. I think. And the more like the viewers engage with us and people give us feedback, and I think from all our sides we like listen to the feedback and we try to like put those feedbacks into it, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure like the listeners are getting the best of it. It's a moving target, right? So I think that's what it is. But like, what do you guys think? I think in terms of that.
So to answer your question, I guess podcast wise, I want to be as big as number one in Minnesota, and when it comes to professional career, I want to end up being hopefully in a managerial position, and personally, I want what everyone wants: good house, good car, and a good family. So
Yes. I think for the podcast, I think just moving it more from kind of like how I was saying before, we really evolved from like one mic, no drapes in the background, just like iMovie. And now we have like the drapes. We have 3 high quality microphones. We have really quality like ring lights and everything. We have everything set up now. And we kind of have a better idea of what we want to do. But we started off very much like top posture, super professional, and then moving more towards like, okay, let's be a little more laid back. Let's be a little bit more like kind of just conversational. And I just want to keep moving towards that and kind of make it more of like, instead of just like a show, make First in Line kind of like a nice brand and something that people can recognize. And one thing that I have for an idea for season 2 is kind of having like all 3 of us, kind of like how we're doing now, but instead of just like a sit down and talk, like just like a fun kind of like fun video where we're doing a challenge, we're talking about life and everything while at the same time doing a nice challenge. So look out for that in the future episode of season 2. For me professionally, I'm like, again, really like kind of thinking like calculated of what I want, and so kind of like thinking how much longer I want to be at where I'm at, doing what I'm doing, and then always wanted to like go back to school, because kind of like how I talked about, right? Like somebody in my family's gonna go get a master's, like somebody's gonna do it, and I don't play for ties, like I want to be the first one. I want to be the first one there. I want to be the only one to get something, to inspire everybody else around me, but also to like be able to go to sleep and be like, yeah, like that's me, In our house, we have like this wall, and it has like my sister's degree, my degree, my little brother's like diploma, and then like my master's. And so it's just like, if my sister gets a master's, then it's tied, and I'm trying to get a doctorate then, and that's like kind of like that's like checkmate, right? When I get my doctorates.
Do you think your siblings are as competitive as you academically? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a pretty vocal competitor. Like if you ever played me like in video games or whatever, or in life, like you understand, like I'm very like vocal about it. So they're not as vocal as me, and that might be because I'm just that more vocal, that it's just like they're kind of more of like the nightly assassin of like, I'm just gonna lay in the back and then surprise you with something. Like obviously, like my sister graduated from Georgetown, so it's like that's good, right? Like respect. So all I can do is go to Notre Dame, but get that much higher, So I would say my older sister is not. I think my little sister is more like career driven than like academically driven. But I think and so she might go back to get a master's, but I think she's more focused on like just getting a career, moving up in the career, which cool. Lets me have the title for a little bit longer. And my little brother's like the wild card. He can like drop out of college and build a business and live off the business, or he can like go off and graduate college and then get a doctorate and then shush me up for years, right? So but he's at least 3 more years of him in college, so I still hold that title for at least 3 more years and whatever else he's got. But yeah, I mean, obviously it'd be love to have kids, be married one day, and would love to like coach a soccer team one day. I think that's one of the things that kind of like being an actor is another thing. Like I would love to be a coach and like late middle school, high school age, where like the students are like just starting to like tactically develop. So I think that's something that I also, when I have my kid, like, because I've like looked up different leagues, like rec leagues, and you can't be a coach unless you have a kid in the team. So I gotta get a kid first.
Adopt, don't shop.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's something that I definitely want to do in the future.
Yeah.
I think for me, just looking back, reassessing, podcast wise, like you guys all hit like the main points. Just continue building the brand and continue being a better host. Like I said, like feedback wise, or like look at the camera well. I was like, I can't, I'm too shy, and I feel like I've gotten better over that. And just looking out for the
Yeah.
Trying maybe like to introduce the podcast with less like cuts, and just trying to like introduce the human side of it, make it more conversational, like you had said, and like less cuts, more make the conversation more like organic, right?
Yeah.
That way we can catch like a genuine interaction or like a genuine mistake, because like no podcast is gonna be perfect, and maybe make it a little more chill, like maybe in the beginning we had like cuts and we only had the good parts, but maybe we can include a little bit more mistakes and bring in we had some good people, and we can continue building off of that, bring in people maybe that we aren't so familiar with, because so far it has been like people in our network. So do that for the podcast in the future. And where there's opportunity to like bring in like sponsors or anybody else, in terms of like people who want to support the podcast, like we can look into those opportunities for like season 2, season 3, and we'll see where it goes. Like in a year, 2 years, you never know where the podcast can take us. So I'm excited for that opportunity. Professionally, I think I'm a little bit different than Alberto. Like looking at, I'm a numbers guy, right? Like my major was in accounting, and Alberto is here, saying like I want to get another PhD and stuff like that. When he's talking that, like that just gave me a heart attack. Because just I'm a numbers guy, it's like maybe you can get that, just I guess I'll relate it back to me. Like for me, like if I go to get more schooling, I'm thinking about student loans, right? It's like that's scary, like I'm not gonna, I don't want to finance or go into more like go into like debt in order to like accomplish some of those things. For me, I'm thinking about like I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm just trying to in the future, not right now, things are going well for me. I like my job, I'm learning a lot, and that's what I wanted to do, or I enjoy my work, and like obviously no job is perfect, but it's giving me the satisfaction that I need at my current point in time. But in the future, I want to escape corporate America. I don't want to be in corporate America for the rest of my life. I don't want to work until I'm 65, which is like 40 more years, and retire at 65, right, and be able to pull out my 401k when I'm 65. Like no, like right now I just been looking at like courses and looking like self study for like how to invest. Well, I'm pretty like confident in how to work the stock market, how to invest. I've been doing some self-education in that aspect. So, who knows? Maybe in the future, like I'll maybe like have enough to like invest in the stock market and make those returns, so that way I don't have to like rely on a job. So maybe it could be like looking into like an investment property, or like you guys are entrepreneurials, maybe like have enough money to like invest in one of you guys' business, and I'll be like a Shark Tank kind of guy or something. I don't know. So I'll invest like 2-3K in one of you guys' business, and I'll be like a partner, and you guys do all the work. I don't know. That's how Mark Cuban started. Mark Cuban didn't start with nothing. Like he just he just worked, saved cash. He saw investment opportunities. He invested. He got a good rate of return. Next one, that's pretty much what like a shark or angel investor does. But I'm just generalizing right now. But I think like at the end of the day, maybe like I don't want to work forever. Like I'll work, but I want to invest. I think that's where I want to be, or have enough where I can invest, and focus more of my time on not working, but on like enjoying life, right? Because life is short. I don't want to work for 40 years. Like I'll work, I'll do those times, but I want to work when I want to work, not and have those returns for me, not for somebody else's gain.
Yeah.
So like, you mentioned how you don't want to work you don't want to work your entire life, right? So let's say you reach that point. Well, how do you see your life then, like without work out of your life?
Yeah. So I don't think even now, like I don't think I'll ever like stop working, if that makes sense. Like, I don't see like I think what I'm trying to escape is like a 9 to 5, right? Like being there, from showing up Monday to Friday, like 8 a.m., being there to like 4 or 5 p.m., right? Having set times, right? I think what I'm trying to like escape is like having those like boundaries or those like parameters around me, right? I'll work, like when I want to work, like I don't have to like maybe some days I want to wake up at 6 a.m. and that's fine, but I don't have to like show up, So it's more of as a like, hey, like if I need to take this meeting, I'll take the meeting, and I'll do this X, Y, and Z. And my job is pretty flexible in that. I can do that. I have my main projects are like that, but like a lot of that like benefits, or is like is because I'm salary. I'm in a salary, so like it will benefit like the projects that I'm working on. But like no matter how hard I'll work, like I'll get like a bonus, asset bonus, at the end of the year and stuff like that. But like no matter how hard I work, like extra hours I can put like 60, 70 hours. It's not gonna like give me more gain. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like it's it's only like set. Like I'm limited in terms of like my potential gain, right? But if you, I feel like I still haven't reached that point yet. But I feel like one day if you like get to a point where you do escape your 9 to 5, and you like maybe like a podcast, right? Like you do put in more hours and you bring in more interesting people, or like people that you get like become a better host. Like that ad potential for like YouTube. For like a YouTube, like the ad revenue, like say you get like 1 million views, or I mean, there's a monetization, but I guess an example, it's unlimited, right? Like the unlimited gain there is a lot more than like a set salary for a year. So that's what I mean by trying to escape for 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Nice. What was your other question you wanted to ask?
Oh well, I guess it kind of relates to what we're talking about. Kind of relates to achievement and what we see ourselves in the future, but just like bringing it back to this year, what's something you guys are looking forward to this year, 2022?
I can start really quick. Actually, I'm married, and when I got married back in 2018, and one of the things that I promised my wife was that one day, like I was paying off my student loans. We finally did that. The pandemic hit, and one of the things that we wanted to do was that I had promised her was to take her to Paris. Because she in high school she took French, and so I was looking. Always been a little excited for it, and we've been putting it off. We're like, it's not the right time, not the right time. But like in life, there's never gonna be a right time to do anything. Like you'll try to create like a perfect opportunity for something, but then the way saying is like el hombre hace el plan y Dios sería, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So you can make all the plans in the world, but things will never work out perfectly, because nothing in this world is 100%. Nothing in this world is perfect. So we just decided like let's just pull the plug. Let's go for it. And actually heading off to Paris this Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, what?
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for like 9 days.
That's where you're going.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
9 days. So I'm excited for that.
Coming back for your birthday.
I'm coming back for my birthday.
Wow.
It's pretty nice. So we'll be gone for about 9-10 days. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been looking forward to, and 2022.
Dang.
Wow. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's actually your second time in Europe, no?
Yeah. Back in 2015, I did a study abroad in London. I was there for about 3.5 months. So that was fun, but expensive.
Yeah. Wow. I would say, big picture, like I'm a year out of school now. Like I've been in school since. Did I go to kindergarten? I think I did. I think
That's your mom.
I definitely didn't go to preschool. Kindergarten is mandatory, right? Like you can't.
You can skip it.
Oh,
I didn't go to kindergarten.
I didn't go to kindergarten.
I think I'm from first grade all the way to ending my grad school. Like I graduated grad school in 2021, so I just completed a full year out of school. And like trying to like figure out the adulting thing, and like having a job and going home, and like not having homework, and not having like a big like milestone to work after, you know, like everything's been like graduation, awards, and now it's just like, okay, now you're at this point of life where it's like a super slow raise. And again, like with my competitive nature, that's just very like, it's been a point of like reflection for me, is like, dang, like do I only want to go back to school because I want that milestone again, and like I want to reach a big milestone, you know? Like literally, if you don't go to my Facebook, but if you go to my Facebook, like my last 3 posts are probably like graduations, my last 3 graduations, and like that's all I post basically, which kind of just shows like things that are important to me, right? It's like,
here's my question to Alberto, and I look at a lot of like other podcasts and like webinars.
Yeah.
So just this is out of the top of your head, you know, like, are you happy
right now?
Yeah.
Right now, I'd say I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay. Because a lot of people would say, you know, depends, or like maybe.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because the thing is like, we tend, you know, not you, you know, I'm not attacking you.
Yeah. No, I feel I'm good.
But look, a lot of people like tend to put their happiness on, you know, their careers.
Yeah.
When I'll have enough money,
Yeah.
I'll be happy. When I
get my doctorates.
when I get my doctors, I'll be happy. You know, or when I get a dog, or when I get my family, my house, my kids, my car, I'll be happy. Like, why do we have to, like, you know, move happiness to like a bucket list? And when we finally do, or like a check mark, right? When we finally hit like a few check marks, we're like, I want these more things. You know, we move the happiness post. You know, that's like something I like. It was like a webinar, and I would credit it, but I forget which one it was, and hopefully like we'll credit it in YouTube.
We'll find it.
Channel. We'll find it. But like we humans tend to like move the happiness meter along, you know, and we're never like happy, right?
Yeah.
And in that webinar that I watched, challenged, you know, people to like be happy first. You know, you don't need XYZ. You don't need a list, you know, to check off to be happy. So like, be happy first, and then the end result is that, you know, you perform these things better when you're trying to accomplish your goals. So that was just something I wanted to add.
Yeah, and I like, that's part of my reflection too, is like when I thought about like, do I want to go back to school because of the milestone, and that's gonna like give me my dopamine or whatever, but a lot of it is like my like wanting to continue to test myself, you know, like every chapter of my life is because of like a big test, right? So like whenever I see the next chapter, it's like, what is this next big test? And I think it's just so much easier to see what the big test is when you have a graduation coming up, right? So like right now I'm kind of like I'm a young professional, my first year, like I said, out of school, and I'm like almost looking like, what is the big test? Like, what is the big thing that's gonna define this chapter of my life? And you know, like I'm still looking for it. I love what I do. You've probably heard on the podcast, like work at a high school with like youth professional development, workforce development, and it's like something that I could say, I'm not going to speak for everybody here, but like I could say like definitely opened many doors and changed the course of my life, and like just being able to see and develop that system and make it a stronger system, a more efficient system, a more equitable system, like, and working with one of the best leaders that I know as well, is just like, it's like a dream come true. And yeah, so what was the question?
No, I think you could hit it, you know, like, what do you want to do? I think that's the question, right?
That was it. What was the question you said?
He asked the question.
You asked the question? No, you asked the question.
No, we were talking about the happiness meter.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I'm very happy right now.
Like, you're happy, and then I think we're getting closer to like the bottom of the hour.
Yeah.
So somebody, or the top of the hour, or something like that. So does anybody want to close this out?
Yeah, of course.
Or Nelson, like, you want to close your thought first? So actually, you know, before we actually end it, just want to give thanks to Maria Jose. She's been helping us out this year with our social media. So thanks, Maria, for everything you've done so far for the podcast. And any closing thoughts, Nelson?
Yeah, actually, when it comes to editing, I kind of want to get some feedback. If you guys want to DM me or comment on our video, if you guys, how do you guys interact, or how do you guys view the video? Do you guys see the video as recorded through camera, or are you guys more of just listening and doing your work or driving to work? So that way I know to put more work on the visuals or more on the sounds. So let me know. how you guys think the editing has been so far. I appreciate the feedback. And Alberto?
Yeah. So, kicking off season 2 with this episode, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Kind of getting to know us, kind of getting to know what we do outside of the podcast and inside of the podcast. Kind of what we have planned for the future. Super excited to kick off season 2 with this. Look out for the episode 1 coming out in a few days. And again, we want to be more personable in this podcast, so this is kind of like the first attempt to do that. We're gonna have challenges, we're gonna have fun videos for you guys, just kind of scattered throughout the seasons. So if you have any challenges that you'd want us to kind of like to do, like maybe your favorite challenge or whatever, put it down in the comments down below. We have a few in mind already, but obviously what you guys want, we will try to deliver. That being said, super excited, high hopes. Code Edwin for a discount on the website, so because he was a big highlight for this. So if you stayed to the end, you got a nice little discount on some merch. And yeah, see you guys season 2. Here we go, and thank you so much for the support. It's a wrap.
And then you forget to put Edwin.
It's a joke.
Hey, they're like, so why does Edwin not work?
JK. I misspelled his name. Wicho.
Okay, let's wrap it up. There's pizza, guys. Let's get pizza.